May 11 federal budget. The Treasurer, Josh Frydenberg, joins me now. Treasurer, good morning to you.
Nice to be with you, Kochie.
Government support is down since the September quarter. Job figures looking good. In your mid-year budget and economic forecast, you were looking at a $200 billion deficit for this year. Has that improved?
Yes, it has, and that's off the back of having more people in work. And when you get more people in work, welfare payments go down, tax revenue goes up, and that's how we drove the first balanced budget in 11 years ahead of going into this pandemic. And so you repair the economy, you end up repairing the budget, and that's what is driving us with respect to this unemployment rate at 5.6%, Kochie. It is still higher than when we entered this crisis, but it's certainly a lot better than what Treasury and the Reserve Bank were forecasting.
What would you be happy with? What do you want it to get down to?
My first goal is to get it back to where it was going into this pandemic, which was at 5.1% last February. But even last December, just a few months ago, we expected more than 200,000 people to be unemployed than compared to today.
Yep.
And so the recovery has been so much stronger and faster, not just compared to previous recessions, but even our most optimistic forecasts. And that's why we want to keep that momentum going.
And you've really won lotto, haven't you? You've won the iron ore lotto. Iron ore counts for 40% of our exports. Your budget was based on an iron ore price assumed at $55 a tonne. It's now $200 a tonne. You're rolling in iron ore cash at the moment and tax. How much extra in tax will you have from iron ore this year?
Well, those numbers will be revealed, obviously, on budget night.
Come
but
on. Come on.
I know you'd love me to.
You're swimming in money.
Well, I wouldn't put it that way.
Yes,
we've just actually delivered, big budget deficits off the back of big government support to help people get through this pandemic. Let's not forget the JobKeeper program at $90 billion helped the wages of 3.6 million Australians. But it's a bill that we still have to pay back. Every dollar we were spending was a borrowed dollar, and that's why we're very conscious of that fiscal discipline.
What interest rate have you paid on those borrowed dollars? 0.1%?
Yeah, it's been a very good interest rate compared to previous interest rates, but I can tell you...
Geez, I wish I could borrow at 0.1%
but
for 30 years.
Kochie, I'm not sure you want the government as your personal financial advisor. I think you do that pretty well. But look, I think the servicing of our debt, even at these elevated debt levels, is less than it was just a few years ago because the interest bill that we're paying, or the interest rate, is lower than it was, and that's a good thing.
OK, economists are tipping tax cuts, a big cash splash for women, and tax cuts for not just the income tax offset. How successful are tax cuts to restoring the economy?
Well, tax cuts are consistent with the Coalition's philosophy, namely that we reward effort and enable Australians to keep more of what they earn. And that money is then spent through the economy, helping to create jobs. And our focus for tax cuts that I announced in last year's budget was on low and middle income earners. So if you were a tradie, or you're a teacher, or you were a nurse, you could be many dollars better off over the course over the year as a result of those tax cuts. Now, we will continue to drive lower taxes, whether it's for businesses, whether it's for individuals. They're announcements that we've already made. They're policies that are currently being implemented.
OK. All right. Treasurer, I know you've got to go. Thanks very much for your time.
My pleasure.